Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We have Coriander and special guest tonight, Neil, Neon Black Reviews himself. How's it going, everyone?
Hey,
Doing
how are
great.
you?
I'm doing great. This is going to be a fun episode. Neil was very kind to join us tonight and actually had the idea that we talk about The Prowler, which is
Yeah,
awesome. It's a
it
great choice.
it is. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I had not seen this in so long. This was another one of these slashers that, it's almost like a reintroduction for me. So it was very, very cool to check it out. Um, Before we start, I'll just see who we have in the chat and then we'll get going on this thing. We've got Drake. Drake saying that Drake has arrived. All right. He says, "How are you tonight, Night?" I'm doing pretty good, man. Hope you're doing good too. Let's see. We got my man Gorphobe in the chat saying Savini's favorite of all his work. Yes,
yeah,
man.
it's
Yes.
really good.
Yes. And we've got Horror of Spice in the chat. Hey, what's going
Hey,
on? Nice to have you in the chat. Welcome, welcome. All right. And we got my man Eric, the champion of the people, saying, "Glad you're talking about this sadly forgotten slasher." Absolutely, absolutely. Well, credit goes to Neil, and this is going to be fun. So let's start this off, and let's just talk about the high points of the story or anything that comes to mind as it began. And Coriander, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to Neil, and then I'll jump in. What'd you think of the beginning of this, Coriander? The way this thing started out?
I mean, I like how it started out. It was like black and white, and it's taking you kind of through Rosemary's story and what
Mm-hmm.
happens to her. And yeah, she breaks up with her boyfriend. She writes him a letter. He's like overseas in the war, and
Mm-hmm.
for me, yeah, I think that's like a real pretty shitty way to break up with someone, especially, someone who's out doing that, oh, I can't wait for you. It's like, oh my God, that's just lame. And yeah, so I don't really feel too bad with what happened. No, I shouldn't say that, but yeah. No, I really like how this started. It was really good.
Yeah, it was pretty nice the way it started. How about you, Neil? What did you think about how it began, or any thoughts that you had of the opening of the story?
Well, yeah, the first time I watched this, I don't know, probably 20 years ago. I mean, when it first starts out, I was like, am I watching a horror movie? Did I put the right thing in? Because, like it does, starts out with, an ocean liner coming in with all the troops on it and everything.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it got to the action pretty quick. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's a typical slasher. In regards, something happens in the past and you come forward. You get the same thing with My Bloody Valentine, Friday the 13th, a lot of those kind of films. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it quickly got into more familiar territory. So,
Yeah.
It even has a little bit of
Absolutely.
Halloween when he digs up the corpse in the cemetery.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Well, to me, like both of you said, it started off pretty quick, and after you get the black and white little montage developing, the background story, you see that there's a dance for the GIs that have come home and stuff like that. And then, of course, you have to have a couple that goes off somewhere alone.
Yeah, well, it's
Dark.
Rosemary. Yeah, it's Rosemary and her new beau, I guess.
That's right. You're absolutely right. So, obviously you knew where this was going to go. There was absolutely no doubt, even in my mind, about where this was going to go. So, like you guys have just mentioned, it started off pretty damn quick, which I thought was pretty nice as far as, a rhythm of the story. Coriander, once we get past that and we see the death of Rosemary, when we get back into present time and they're showing that they're setting up for this graduation dance, what did you think of that, and obviously the cast that we were introduced to?
I didn't mind this cast. I'm not saying I had like any particular favorite person, because I didn't, but I didn't like hate the cast or anything.
Okay.
But I liked how, like I said, like how this whole thing's out. You have these girls. It's been how many years? Like 40 something, 30 something years, was it?
Yeah. Yeah. 30 something years.
35. Yeah, something like that. And, yeah, it's like just like Bloody Valentine. A dance
Mm,
starts off this whole crazy killing and
yeah.
spree. And they're getting ready and you see them prepare and yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. It does have a lot of parallels to My Bloody Valentine for sure. It was definitely compared to that a lot.
Mm.
N- Neil, as we start with this thing going off, I mean, what did you think of Pam? Because obviously she's the lead female in this story. What did you think of her and some of the other cast members?
I mean, I liked her character. I thought she carried, her role throughout the film fairly well.
Hmm.
Most of the cast is really good.
Yeah.
In fact, the first time I saw the deputy there, I thought that was like a young Cillian Murphy. I mean, he
Yeah,
reminded me
that's
a lot of him.
exactly what I thought. Oh my God, that's so funny that you say that.
Yeah,
That's
I even
exact.
looked it
Every
up to
time I
make sure. I was like, I didn't think he was in this movie, so I looked it up on IMDb when I was watching it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but they could pass for brothers. I mean, it's.
they good, man. That's so
But,
funny.
but yeah, I thought the cast was probably a little above average for most slasher flicks.
Hmm.
There weren't any characters really that I didn't like.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I liked them enough. So when they start getting knocked off, you do feel a little bit for them anyway.
Right. Absolutely. Let's see real quick in the chat, just to catch up to these guys. We also have Junebug is in the chat. What's going on, man? Saying definitely a man of many talents, directing, special effects, acting. Absolutely. Yeah, very, very much so. Tom Savini is just amazing. Eric says, welcome to the show, Neil. Just connected to your channel. Very
Hey,
cool.
thanks, man. Appreciate
Very,
that.
very cool. Absolutely. And Eric's the man. Eric says, love Joseph Zito, not just for this and the final chapter, but he's directed some Chuck Norris films too. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Yeah, very, very much so. He says, I finally got the Blu-ray of this literally today.
Nice.
Nice. I've got one too.
Yeah, we both got one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
we're all showing our Prowler DVD.
Supposedly there's
Blu-rays.
like an uncut version.
I heard something like that.
Yeah.
I would love to see
Right?
that. I really would.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, so we're introduced to this cast and they're pretty cool. I mean, Pam, played by Vicky Dawson, I think she handled this movie very well. Her scenes were very believable. Like you were saying, Neil, I definitely rooted for her and obviously the deputy, fake Cillian Murphy. But what was interesting was, again, the rhythm of the story. It was pretty fast paced, even though there weren't a ton of kills. But you're already into the story. You're introduced to her and a couple of her friends. They're getting ready for the graduation dance. They go to the dance, and she, has a little moment where she's trying to, hang out with the Deputy Mark. And he gets pulled into dancing with one of her other girlfriends. And so she's upset and she decides, to leave. Now, while that's happening, or right before that's happening, you've got the Prowler who actually comes into the room where her roommate is. And that scene was brutal. Neil, what did you think of that scene? I just thought that was a real brutal scene. Very well done, obviously, with Tom Savini. But what did you think of it?
I mean, I thought it was great. I think all the kills in this film are great, and this is another one that they showed on the special feature there on the Blu-ray, how they did it. So it was pretty cool to see that, after watching the film. But yeah, I mean, they put a lot of time and effort into these kills. Like you said, there's not a lot. I think there's 8 in the film total. But they come at you in like a double punch. There'll be a kill, and then just a couple of minutes later, there's another one. And to me, that made it feel like there was more kills in the film than there actually are. So you get like four sets of 2 as you watch the film, and they're pretty evenly spaced. And of course, the build up for them is pretty well done as well. So, lost one of my earbuds, but yeah. I really like the build up. I mean, it was definitely, that great slasher atmosphere and tension that the best of the slashers are able to pull off. So, but this one was definitely brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Eric was saying, if your Blu-ray is from Blue Underground, it is the uncut version, at least according to the back. That's the version that I got today. Oh, nice. All right. Nice. But yeah, Coriander, once we see that kill scene in the bathroom, and again, I gotta admit, man, I was really impressed with it, because obviously we had Roy, we had Carl and Sherry who were killed. What did you think of that scene? And then, of course, we have Pam, who's walking back to the room. A lot of tension in that scene. What were you thinking about?
Yeah. I mean, Savini's, work in this movie is like the best, especially if you think it's like 1981 this came out. And the gore to these kills, it's amazing. Yeah, there's only just a few, but they're all just so gory and realistic. It's great.
Absolutely.
It's great. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, and when she's at that dance and when the Mark and that chick is done dancing, obviously she bumped into him and he spilt her drink on her, so she had to like go and change. And I mean, that whole scene when she walks in and the door's shut, and the blood that's on the bed's covered, so she didn't even know. She just changed. She thought they were in there doing their thing, and and he was still in there, so that was crazy that she was lucky because he could have came out of that bathroom and killed her right there, but he didn't for some reason. So she got lucky.
Well, that's actually a wonderful point, and I'll pass it to you in a second, Neil. But I think that is one thing that I really enjoyed about this movie versus a lot of other slashers is that it wasn't predictable. I mean, there were a couple of, moments where you had to have the slasher tropes of old. So that's true. But I mean, in general, they really like right when you think they'd go right, they'd take a left turn, like that scene, she opens the door and I was thinking, man, she's got to see it, but she just didn't open it enough. And I'm thinking he's got to be right there. Right. And so as she starts leaving the room, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe she'll meet him at some other point further down in the film. No, right? When she starts to go down the stairs and she just pauses for a second and she looks back up and then there he is. And I'm like, wow, very cool.
Yeah. Before that, she heard the door close and that made her stop to look like, well, what the hell?
Right. Yeah. But I mean, just the rhythm that they used in this movie, I think it was very, very, it was above average class, What were you thinking in that scene, Neil? Because, like I said, the tension was pretty thick.
Right. So, to me, this is one of the more common slasher tropes where, she comes back into the room and we know what has happened. She has no idea. Right. And she's right on the edge of it. She is, just one glance to the left or right from seeing what happened, but she doesn't. But, we as the audience are sitting there, just screaming at the TV. It's like, open the door and look.
Yes.
But I had the same thought you did watching it last night where, I knew that he wasn't going to, to try to kill her then because I've seen the movie before. But then, I noticed, she comes back down the stairs and that leads into one of the best chase scenes in the movie.
Yes.
Where she runs outside and is it Major Chatham or whatever grabs her cloak or whatever she's wearing and rips it off. And, I mean, it was just great the way they executed it, because it was really unexpected at that point in the movie. Usually that kind of chase scene is left for the end for the final girl.
Yeah,
and here they are doing it probably, 25 minutes into the film, something like that. So
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I mean, it just caught you by surprise, and it was so well done. And I just want to throw this out here too, and then I'll get to you, Coriander. I really appreciated her as far as being smart, and also when she ran, she ran. She didn't kind of, lollygag how sometimes you see the final girls do in movies. She
And you noticed
actually,
how she didn't trip?
that's what I was going to say too. She
Oh
didn't
shit.
trip. No, no, no,
Yeah.
that's fine. No, but I mean, but seriously, like when she was running, like she was like full bore Olympic style running, no tripping on thin air. It was like, good for you, Pam. Good for
Right?
you. Real quick in the chat, and then I'll get to you, Coriander. Gorephobe says the shower pitchfork scene, the iconic scene of the movie. Yeah, absolutely. Heck of a scene. Once and future badass. Hello, Nightwatch, and my future wife, Corey. How's it going? And Drake was saying, yes, Gore, one hell of a kill scene. Absolutely. Absolutely. But Coriander, like Neil was saying, we get this chase scene right near the beginning, or, at the end of the first third of the movie or whatever, 20 something minutes in, basically. What were you thinking once, she did get away because she's smart and she bumps into Deputy Mark? And, what were you thinking of the story at that point?
It's enjoyable. Some people say there's some slow moments, but I guess it depends on, you, the person viewing it, because to me, I didn't really find any really slow moments,
Yeah.
I thought, Mark showed up at the right time, honestly, because she would have had to keep running, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, it was just, it was interesting how things turned out.
Yeah. And of course, again, it was odd in the sense that it didn't follow what I thought it would follow as far as the story. Because again, we had this great chase scene so early in the film. So I'm like, well, where are they going to go with it now? Well, you go back to the dance and, you see, her friends and everyone else, they're partying it up and all that type of stuff. So that's pretty cool too. But, and I'll give Deputy Mark some credit too. He was a pretty smart cop or deputy in this movie. He was not annoying to me like a lot of those type of characters usually are. So I have to give him credit too.
His hair kind of bothered me, but that's just me being weird,
The old 80s style.
It was 1981.
Right? It was bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Well,
but anyway.
young Killian. But so he tells, the people in the dance and Miss Allison, hey, there's a prowler out, stuff is going on. We need to keep everyone in here. And she makes the announcement, Miss Allison. So at this point, it's like, oh, wow, they're keeping people in one spot. This is pretty smart the way it was crafted. I like that. You know what I'm saying? But before that happened, you had Lisa, Pam's friend Lisa, who went out to the swimming pool because she wanted to cool off. Of course she did, right? So she got out to the swimming pool before, the quote unquote lockdown. Now, Neil, at this point, obviously we know what scene we're going to talk about. How did you think they executed this pool scene?
Oh man, it was great. I mean, and this was one that they went into on the bonus feature, Tom Savini's gore reel, where they really showed how this was done, which is more interesting to me than actually watching it in the film, because it's like you didn't, so like this screenshot that you've got right here, you'll see it on the gore reel where, they've got the camera set up and he's got the knife, to her throat, and they're moving it around in all different directions just so that they can film it from, just a bunch of footage. They've got a bunch of footage. And of course, then they stop and they get the prosthetics up where, because it cuts deep. She gets cut really, really deep with that bayonet.
Yes.
And you could see it there. And they're just twisting this thing back and forth and everything. And Savini's on the side, I think, just pumping blood out of it with this little hand pump thing. And then, of course, the scene, the way it plays out in the movie, you get the underwater camera, which back in the 80s, I don't know that they did that a whole lot. I can't think of another film that really, slasher film anyway, that shows it. But, they've got the pool light down there, and the blood is, filming over the light that's coming through from the pool light. It's just a great scene. So
you see her floating. It's very realistic. The kills in this movie are realistic, and yes, they are so gory and that's what incredible.
That's what they were showing on the gore reel is, they're just moving this knife around, and then, in the editing room, they put it all together so that it looks like one fluid scene. But, they had a lot of footage to choose just the right angles and everything from. So make sure the lighting was just right and things like that. So, I mean, it was just, it's just a great scene. And then, when you see behind the scenes footage of it, you just appreciate it even more, knowing all the effort and everything that they went to for what is probably 2 minutes of screen time.
Yeah. Good point. Excellent points. Yeah. And I got to check out that special feature, because it's just amazing, because the effects looked so good. And,
they did.
Thinking that it's 1981, it's just phenomenal. Eric in the chat says, I love how Knight says he wasn't bothered by the character, and Coriander says she didn't like his hair. Laugh out loud. We got my man Ken. Ken's in the chat. Mid-level media. What's going on, man? He's saying, hey guys.
Hello.
Hope you're doing well. Yet another one I need to see. Absolutely, Ken.
Oh, yes, you do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't remember. I can't remember, but there was another movie a while back that Ken had seen us reviewing, and I was like, we were like, you got to check it out, and he really enjoyed it. This is definitely one of those, Ken. You got to check it out, man. Seriously, you do. But Coriander, as we get past the pool scene, one other thing that got me too is that you had red herrings in this movie, because you had people that you thought were going to get killed, but they didn't, and you had people that you thought could be the Prowler, but obviously we found out that they weren't. Did you think that was executed well? Did you enjoy that aspect of the movie?
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't out just going crazy. Well, he kind of was, but he was kind of selective, and that was kind of interesting, that he was kind of selective. So I didn't mind how these scenes played out.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. And then of course we get to the cemetery, and cemeteries can always add or detract from a movie to me if it's done right. But I thought this was actually done in a pretty good way. It was pretty damn creepy. And of course, and it also showed, obviously with these leads with Deputy Mark and Pam, they're trying to figure out what's going on. They were told by the convenience store guy that there were some people in the graveyard and the gate is open and all that type of stuff. So they go there to basically investigate it. And, again, the story is starting to unravel to us a little bit more. Take me through that part, Neil. Did you like this scene, the way it was done?
Well, yeah, because I mean, again, one of the things that I think this film does really well is, it for the most part, it sticks to the standard tropes that you get in slashers. They just put them together in a different way to kind of keep you guessing. So, he's going to jump down in that hole to see what happened. Is there a body in that casket?
Yes.
And he gets interrupted and he jumps back out, and then he has to come back. So, I mean, you get it twice, and then, they open it up and you see what's there. Mm-hmm. But again, I mean, they're doing so many things that they're familiar in, by 1981. I mean, there've been, quite a few slashers that had come out by then. Mm-hmm. But they're, like I said, they're using the same pieces to the puzzle, but they're making a different picture.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, no, that's a great way to describe it. I totally agree with that. Absolutely. Real quick in the chat too, let's see. Once in Future says the effects are top flight security. And we've got Channel of the Living Dead. What's going on? Nice to have you in the chat. Welcome. Saying, oh, cool, The Prowler. Great flick. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, let's get to a couple of other fun facts too that we've come up with, and Coriander, you found some of these, so we'll kind of go through some of these. But number one, there were other titles to the movie.
Yeah.
And actually, there were two, or at least two that I know of. And I think you mentioned it, Coriander. One of them was Rosemary's Killer, which, obviously in the story we figure out, what's going on with that. But I gotta admit, I'm glad they didn't use that one. What do you think, Coriander?
Yeah, it's not bad,
Yeah.
but I like the Prowler better, definitely.
Yeah, no, I do too. I mean, it just sounds better to me. You know what I mean? But they also had another name of it. It was called the Pitchfork of Death.
Thank God, no.
That's too cheesy.
It is cheesy. It is cheesy. Better than Rosemary's Killer, though. But yeah, it's too on the nose.
Ooh, I like Rosemary's Killer better than friggin' Pitchfork. No, thank you.
Yeah, I think about Rosemary's Baby, if that's what they call it.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And let's do another one. Let's see. Who said it was Savini's best? Coriander, do you know who said it was Savini's best work?
He did.
That's right.
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Savini himself said that this was his best work, his favorite work. Which
I have to agree with that, man. I think his work in this was incredible. Yeah,
I thought so too, man. Seriously, everything like you were saying, Neil, everything just looked so good, and you could tell that they were happy with the effects too, because usually there was a close up of it. And it wasn't shrouded in darkness or rain or anything like that. It was, full on right there in front of you. And I thought they did some wonderful things. They really, really did.
And no off-screen kills either.
Yes, good point. Oh my gosh. Yeah, good point. Good point. Another fun fact, cemeteries creep me out. And they really do, man. They truly do. But what we're talking about, Coriander, you were saying that you found out that the cemetery scene was real, right? Or the cemetery they used was real, right?
Yeah, they shot it on Halloween night too. And the open grave that was used for the film was actually like a grave that was, awaiting a funeral. Yeah.
Wow, that's so creepy, man. That's wow. I wouldn't have thought that. That's a good one. I like that one. Right? Let's do another one or two, and then we'll get back to the finale of the story. The Prowler is greater than Friday 4. Now, I'm not gonna get into all that, but really what it's talking about, I'm not really saying that the Prowler is greater, than the final chapter, but I will say that the Prowler was how Joseph Zito got his job as director for the final chapter, because they were so happy and impressed by the job he did directing the Prowler that led to him being hired as the director for Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which many do think is one of the best entries in the Friday series. It's
a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but let's get to the finale of the story. Once they go and they snoop around at Major Chatham's house and all that type of stuff. We basically get to the finale of the story. Neil, why don't you take me through some of the high points that you thought happened, especially once the Prowler catches back up with Pam? What were you thinking at that point?
Well, again, this is, this is the culmination of it all. So you get, the chase that we're normally expecting to see, even though they did it earlier, they're doing it again. So, I mean, you get to, you get a double dip in this one. One of the red herrings that you thought might be the killer makes an appearance, and we rule him out, and he pays for it. We think he's going to turn out to be the hero, but unfortunately, it's not meant to be. I mean, it's just a great scene. I mean, there's a lot of tension. We learn our lesson. if we haven't learned it by now, make sure the damn motherfucker is dead.
Right?
Before you turn your back on it.
By now. Yeah, man. Jeez.
But yeah, I mean that's another trope. We expect it, so you don't laugh at it. But yeah, I mean they just did it very well. And then the goriest scene is the finale.
Yes,
yes,
absolutely.
Whatever they had left in the budget, they splattered it on the walls. So
literally,
quite a way. Yeah, it was so good.
Absolutely.
Yes,
what did you think of the finale, Coriander?
I enjoyed it. I mean, you find out who the killer is, and then you get to understand why he's doing what he's doing. Yeah, and I loved how when he is, they finally take him out and everything's all said and done. And, Mark brings her home back to the dorm and she goes up to her room and they still hadn't discovered a roommate. And that was so awesome, like that scene. Cause just when you think everything's over, it isn't, because you got to deal, with finding another murder. So
yeah, it doesn't end with a final jump scare. It actually ends with a real scare.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Real quick in the chat, Gorephobe saying, I used to play hide and seek in graveyards at night when I was younger.
Oh my God. Yeah. When I was in high school, me and my friends, we would go into graveyards at night and just, I hear you, man.
Nice. Eric was welcoming Channel The Living Dead. Great channel, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got Rock and Roll in the chat saying hello. How's it going? Welcome. Nice to have you. Thank you for joining us. And by the way, for you guys in the chat, if you haven't already, please give this video a like. That would really help us out and support the channel. Eric was saying, love the idea of the rose in this. I do too. It really, again, this is above average stuff that this movie is doing at a time when it would have been easy to take the easy road to craft a slasher.
So far these the movies, the 80s movies that we've talked about so far for Slasher Club, this one right here is like my favorite right now out of all of them that we've done.
I will definitely say this is the best crafted one. And I was actually saying to Neil before we got on live, I was saying to him, I watched it again. I watched it, obviously to do the episode. But then I was like, man, I want to watch it again, because it was just that good, Channel.
And it sucks because I used to have it on VHS and it had, obviously the cover that's behind us for the artwork. And it's such a great movie. Yeah.
Channel Living Dead saying, already liked it, guys. Enjoying the stream. Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the support that you guys give us. And real quick, as we get further into the end of this, a couple more fun facts that we wanted to throw out. And you were talking a little bit about it, Coriander, the Carrie connection. And basically that ending, right? That was the connection to Carrie.
With the hand.
Inspired.
Yep. That inspired them to do that. To do that scene.
And you could tell, like when it's funny, before I even knew of that as a fun fact, when I saw that and how Carl all of a sudden grabs her, and you could even hear it a little bit in the music. And I was like, wow, that reminds me of the Carrie jump scene. Did that remind you of it, Neil?
Actually, I completely missed it. So,
okay. Yeah, it really caught me off guard. I was like, wow, that's great. It was like, you had your finale and then you had another moment and it was like dreamlike and surreal. And then of course she opens her eyes and it's an hallucination because Carl is dead,
Right.
Let's see. If you want something done right, Coriander, who was the Prowler in this movie?
When I found out that Savini was doing all these kills, I thought that just made this so much better. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's it makes sense though. Tom Savini, he just like that.
I would love to say I was, Tom Savini killed me in one of his movies. That would be like awesome.
Yeah.
He even killed himself once.
That
The Maniac.
Nice.
yes, that's true, right? Oh man, too funny, too funny. But yeah, he always likes to get down in the dirt. I appreciate that about him and his career.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. Let's see, we got another one here too. Why was Cindy Weintraub beat red? And I'll throw that one to you, Coriander.
Oh no, you can't do it. Yeah, he ended up, he stained her skin. He used beets, and it took 3 days for it to like wear out. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
But the effect looks so good, man. I mean,
It would be worth it. It's not going to be there forever. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, it looks phenomenal. It looks so good. And and I'll just say this before we end up, and then I'll pass it on to you, Neil. I've seen a lot of Savini's movies, and I really do have to agree. These kills, again, I just got kind of reintroduced to it when I watched it the first time. I watched it a second time because I really enjoyed it. So I might have to let it sit with me a little bit more. I've seen a lot of his other movies, and I gotta admit, man, this is definitely, if not the best, right up there as far as the kills, the brutality, and the craftsmanship, the way that the kills were executed. I mean, it's phenomenal for 1981. It really is. Truly is. Real quick in the chat, let's see what we got here. Eric says, was this anyone's first viewing of The Prowler? I saw this for the first time within the last couple of years. I'll be rewatching it this weekend. Yeah, I was reintroducing it, to me. I hadn't seen it in years, like easily over a decade, maybe 15 years, so.
I've seen it a few times, so yeah.
Yeah, yep. Gorephobe was saying, I seen it the first time almost 40 years ago. Nice.
I can't say that.
Nice.
Not quite that long for me, but probably 30. So yeah.
Wow. All right.
For the first time.
Oh, nice. Rock and Roll saying, saw it at the drive-in when it was released.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Very, very
The drive-in will never die.
That's right.
No, it won't.
That's right. Drake says, got a thumb from me and a share as well. Thanks a lot, man.
Nice.
We appreciate that. We really do, man. Gorephobe saying, nice facts, beats. Yeah. Yeah, man. Channel says, ha ha ha, how about the creepy corpse in the shower with his eyes rolled back to the whites? That always disturbed me for whatever reason. It was very, very disturbing. Very, very
That scene was so great. I mean, when the knife gets shoved through his head and then he's pulling it up and you can see it stretching in his eyes. Yeah, that was it was so good.
Again, phenomenal effects by Savini. It's just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So real quick, one thing we've started to do recently, we've talked about these kills, just to kind of do a recap on how many we had. I'll just play this for you guys real quick. It's just a couple seconds recapping how many kills we had in The Prowler. Here we go. Okay. All right. So we had 8, 4 and 4.
Yeah, that was great.
You like that?
Yes, I did.
Equal opportunity. So any final thoughts for you, Coriander, on this? This is a fantastic movie. I know we've said that a lot, but if you want to say it again, you can.
Yeah, I mean, this movie it's really good. I mean, the gore, it's incredible. And yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's all I can say is it's a real good movie.
Absolutely. How about you, Neil? Any final thoughts or comments about
I
it?
mean, there's just a lot that I could say about this. Having rewatched it again for probably half dozen times last night. There's just so many little things in it that help push it above average. Like when the dance they're bringing the dance back, and you see the girls getting ready, but you also see the Prowler suiting up at the same
Yes.
time. They go back and forth. They didn't have to put that in there, but it's just those little attention to detail things that there's just so much of. And they're playing around with the tropes, putting in a different order. Like at the beginning, our first 2-for-1 kill, he says to Rose right before the Prowler shows up, if one of your soldier friends shows up, he'll be sorry or something like that. And then his soldier friend showed up.
Yes.
So it's got the little the kind of cheesy things that the characters say in slasher films, but they're just putting it all together and into a package that like you said, it keeps you guessing. They do things at different times, they do things just slightly different. And and as far as Savini's work goes, I mean, every film that he's done, there's always at least that one kill that is so good. But in this one, they're all really good.
Yes.
And they were just obviously just trying to make the best film that they could at a time, like you said, the slasher craze was in full force. They could have just pumped this thing out, spent just a little bit of money, and people would see it. People would buy it on VHS. I mean, it would have made money no matter what they did, but they, ended up making one of the best slashers of all time, in my opinion. So,
yeah. No, I agree. And I think it was Complex Magazine had listed it as one of the greatest slashers of all time. And to your point, Neil, like you were saying, just little things here and there really do bring it above the rest. And in that scene where we got the 2-for-1, after the kill, it cuts to the dance with the guy on the microphone saying, "Are you guys alive out there?" And I was just like, oh, wow, but it was cheesy, but not bad cheesy, and also the music. I forgot to mention the music by, I think it was Richard Einhorn who did the music. I thought the music was very good in this movie, as far as, especially when the killings were going on or the hunting, it really was this movie is fantastic, man.
It's a traditional, classical music theme that kind of reminds you of something you'd see in from Manfredini and Friday the 13th or something like that.
Absolutely.
And along with those cheesy things too, when the dance is going on, they bring the dance back 30 years later. I don't know if you listen to the lyrics of the song that the guy was singing, but it's like, put the spotlight back on because I want to watch you bleed.
Yes.
I want to watch her.
Yes.
And I was just like, damn, man. That's kind of brutal.
Yes,
they hadn't invented death metal back then.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see in the chat. Eric was saying, "Love the kill count idea. Bravo!" Hey, thanks, man. We appreciate that. Drake saying, "The kill count is cool, man. Keep it up, bro." Nice. We'll try. Eric saying, "Great stream tonight, guys. Welcome to the club, Neil. Got to go watch my homework for Thursday night. If you guys remember what that is." Damn it. Nice. Thanks, Eric. You're all right, man. Rock and Roll says The Prowler and Day of the Dead, Savini's best work. Yeah, Day of the Dead. He did great things on Day of the Dead, no doubt. Channel says, great stream, you guys. Wish I would have noticed it sooner so I could have caught more, but I'm going to give it a share on Twitter. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, man. We appreciate all you guys supporting us. We wouldn't be able to do anything without you guys, man. Absolutely. Sweet dude, have a good one. We'll talk soon for sure. All right, man. Absolutely. Also, we have Strange Monkey just jumped in. Hey there, dropping in to say hello. I've only seen The Prowler once. Don't remember much. Dude, you got to watch it, man.
Rewatch. Yes,
rewatch it.
And I'd like to see you do a review of it.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, my God. I know. That would be hilarious. I would love to see it. Absolutely. So yeah, anyone who hasn't seen The Prowler or haven't seen it in a very, very long time like myself, we definitely recommend that you guys check it out. So let's see what we're going to be talking about for next Monday's Slasher Movie Club. Here we go, guys. All right. House on Sorority Row. All right.
Yep.
The
Have
next,
you seen that one, Night?
I have not seen that one.
Oh,
I have not seen it either.
nice. Oh, you haven't either? Oh,
No.
nice. Nice.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be fun. You know, again, and that was the beauty of doing this is revisiting movies that I had not seen in a long time, or maybe never had seen. Same thing for you, Coriander. So this will be exciting. So next Monday, we're going to be talking about the House on Sorority Road. That should be a lot of fun. We hope that you guys can definitely check it out, or at least catch us on replay. As we head on out, Drake says, "Hell of a stream, bro. Really enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time, Night." Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. We got Mr. Dan who jumped in. How's it going, man? Love the Prowler. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
All right. Dan the man. Gore says, yes, House on Sorority Road.
Yes,
Bro.
it's a good one.
Yeah. Eric says, Godspeed. Yeah, all right, man. But anyways, thank you guys for checking this out. We appreciate it. And Neil, thank you so much for joining us. And also,
My pleasure.
Coming up with the idea to do the Prowler. We really appreciate it. You're always welcome back on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For you guys in the chat or watching the replay, if you have not checked out Neon Black Reviews, please do so. I've got the link to his channel in the description right now of this video. Check him out. He's awesome. I absolutely love the way he reviews films. He's really got a lot of good knowledge. So check him out. And he's a fellow Horror Tuber of the Month. So that's awesome too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
you know, and well deserved. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. You know your stuff. As soon as we started talking, I was like, yeah, this guy, he's in the circle. So we really appreciate this. So anyways, so we will catch you guys later. Take it easy. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Up church.
We'll